How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, the election cycle is winding down. We are, 10 or 11 days out from Election Day at this point, and we're getting very different closing messages from the two candidates here. We've got Kamala Harris out there who has a positive message, a forward-looking message. Now, you can agree with that, you can disagree with that, that's fine. Whatever your opinion of what she has to say, fair enough. But the other guy out there, yeah, Donald Trump, he is out there literally trashing America. He called us a garbage can. A garbage can. He said our country is a garbage can. Yeah. This is in addition to, all the times that he has called us a third world country, and, let's not forget some of the other things that he had said. We've been conquered, we are occupied, all the things that he has said about our military, all of the generals are all stupid because they don't agree with him and they don't blindly follow him. In fact, if you go back to the 2016 campaign, this is actually something that he said, I know more than the generals. Sure, whatever there, Captain Bone Spurs. Guy who could have served himself, but, when his number was called for the draft, he's like, yeah, no, I've got a doctor over here that's gonna make up some bone spurs for me. Yeah. This guy, he plays himself up to be some kind of a great big patriot. He loves America more than anybody, right? This is the same guy who is out there, everything is the worst that it has ever been in the history of ever. We have never seen anything like it, the likes of which nobody has ever seen or ever will see again. Yeah, that guy. He wants to trash our country, but he wants to be president of our country again. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I've mentioned this before. I wore the uniform for this country. I was in the United States Army for about 9 years. Three tours. 2 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. Now, does that make me better than anybody? No. No, it doesn't. Does that mean that anybody who didn't serve is somehow less of a patriot? No, not necessarily. What it does mean, though, is that if somebody's going to disrespect our country like that, trash our country, talk down about it, and then try to lead this country, well, first of all, he's not a leader anyway. I've seen leadership. He's not a leader. This is the same guy who said he wants generals like what Hitler had. Okay, so you want Nazis. You want Nazi generals. You couldn't have gone back and said, well, I want a general like Patton, or a general like Eisenhower, or MacArthur. I want a general like Grant. Nah, you couldn't go with an American general. Or even more currently, well, I want a general like Petraeus, or Schwarzkopf, or Franks. No, can't go with one of them, can you? I want a general like Powell. No, you don't want generals like that. You want generals that you think are blindly loyal to whatever you say. And what's funny, he wants generals like Hitler had. Never mind the fact that some of them tried to kill Hitler. Of course, tell him that, it'd be like, no, they were totally loyal. Yeah, most of them. Not all. There's some failed assassination attempts on Hitler by his own generals. Be careful what you ask for, Don. I'm not saying that the generals should do something like that. It's definitely not a good idea for them to do that. In fact, I'm actually going to advocate that they not do that. But, I mean, if you want generals like Hitler had, and why? Why would he go to generals like Hitler had? Why Hitler specifically? Really? You can't think of somebody who is not the worst human being to ever live in world history? You can't think of someone who is not the guy who had 6 million Jews murdered? You can't think of someone who is not the guy who started the Second World War and who conquered much of Europe? You can't think of somebody who decided that a description that he doesn't even fit is somehow a master race? You couldn't find somebody who's not that guy. No, see, Donnie, you're unfit. You are unfit. And people get upset because, well, first of all, they are falsely claiming that Kamala Harris called him a fascist. She did not. Now, she was asked if she agreed with that statement because, some guys who worked for Trump, generals who worked for Trump, defined him as a fascist. One gave the textbook definition and said that he meets that definition. The other one just flat out called him a fascist. Kamala Harris didn't call him a fascist. She was asked if she agrees with those statements, and she said yes. And yet somehow it's worse to call a fascist out for being a fascist than it is to actually be a fascist. Oh, there's a video coming soon about fascism and what defines it. That's coming soon. But for this guy to go out there and trash our country and then want to lead it. He wants to call us a garbage can, a third world nation, a conquered nation. We're the worst that we have ever been. All because, what, you didn't get reelected? This is a guy who tried to overthrow an election that he knew he lost. And don't think he won't try it again. We have an election coming up in just over a week. Make sure you vote. And don't let that son of a... You know what? I'm trying to keep this friendly enough so that you don't have to send your kids out of the room to watch. Don't let him back near that White House again. I'll see you next time.